something! Taking lots of damage here! Thanks! Now for some AoE heals!
Okay, okay.
Oh shit! Big damage incoming! Flame, do something! Ah, it's not enough! Help! Oh no! He's transforming! Ascending! All wet and healthy. Thanks, man.
Stay in the goddamn sprint link, dude! Do I have to teach you again what I've learned with talents, rotation, gear, covenants, legendaries, and more, so you can also understand Resto Shaman?
You too, dear viewer, can ascend and heal our wounds. Well, at least in the YouTube algorithm department. All you have to do is like the video, subscribe to our channel, and click that notification bell. Yeah, don't forget about the bell. Yes, it's the most helpful. Now, let's sprinkle some life. We will start with Unleash Life as the best all-around talent in the first row. An okay instant single target heal that can buff your direct healing spells by 35% once every 15 seconds and works even on chain heal, making it the only AoE talent on this row. This choice on paper offers the most healing output out of all of them, but because it's a very clunky and requires a lot of knowledge of the fight to get the best out of it, it is not an ideal choice. So in comes Torrent, the most preferred talent on this row for raiding and by Necro Shamans. It will make you wash away the pain of your targets, increasing the initial healing of your Riptide by 20%. Torrent is far away from Unleash's healing, and it will be easier to use, especially if using the Primal Tide core legendary. For Mythic Plus, this talent row provides you with Undulation. This talent will buff your every third cast of Healing Wave or Healing Surge by 50%. It's very powerful when you need a lot of single target healing, combine it with the tidal waves, and all your party members will be wet and safe from that high damage you always take. You know what I mean, man? Come on. On the next row, double is better than one, if you know what I mean. Take Echo of Elements and you will be the Riptide water sprinkler you always dreamed of. Double Riptide, double Healing Stream totem, or double Cloudburst totem if you want to be a proper sprinkler, will make you and your healing more smooth like a baby's bottom. And there is more! You'll even get double Lava Burst charges, so a win in the DPS department. The other talents fall behind the Echo of the Elements in all aspects, hence not worth mentioning. On the utility row, Spirit Wolf will be the best pick for raiding and a very powerful defensive talent. It will give you a 20% damage reduction and 20% extra movement speed if you spend at least 4 seconds in Ghost Wolf form. Spirit Wolf is a very powerful talent when you are expecting a high damage hit and you can squeeze 4 seconds of not healing. Earth Grab Totem will find its way into your toolkit if you need it in M+. It's basically like my high school crush when she smiled at me. Could never move my ass out of place. God damn it. Very good in helping the tank get rid of necrotic stacks or that one boss in Plaguefall we all know and like. Where you need the extra root for the summoned act. And in case that your Mythic Plus group needs more AoE stuns, then the Static Charge talent is the one for you. It will reduce the cooldown of your AoE stun capacitor totem by up to 20 seconds depending on how many targets were hit. In the level 35 row, Earthen Wall totem will be your most popular pick for raiding. And another totem, yes! Resto Shamans are all about the totems. This one will absorb a portion of damage received by your allies that hang around in its area of effect. Earthen Wall is not recommended for big hits, but is very useful against a lot of ads that attack the tank, or even against damage over time that affects your entire raid. Ancestral Vigor will be the default pick in Mythic Plus. Your ancestors will buff your direct healing to increase your target's HP by 10% for 10 seconds. It's pretty good, especially in high keys where that HP matters if you survive the hit or not. So take it to make your ancestors proud. The last talent on this row, with no surprise, another totem. Ancestral Protection Totem is a situational option used in both Mythic Plus and Raid when your group lacks a combat res. On a 5-minute cooldown, this totem will persist for 30 seconds, increasing the HP of everyone in its range by 10% and will resurrect someone if that person dies during its uptime. Keep in mind that the resurrection from this totem counts as a personal Ankh of Reincarnation and will not count as a battle res. On the enhanced utility row, we will find the Graceful Spirit as a one and all best around picks. It's just good everywhere. It will reduce the cooldown of Spirit Walker's Grace and increase the movement speed by 20% and will be the best pick in heavy movement situations. Windrush Totem will be a situational one, yet powerful pick nonetheless for raiding, and it will make you place another totem on the ground that will increase the movement speed of all your allies that pass through it. And finally, Nature's Guardian will be kind of your personal cheat death. It will heal you if you drop under 35% HP for 20% of your max HP, and will work even if you take lethal hits as long as the hit itself does not exceed the amount that it can heal. Be free to pick whatever suits your group's needs more, depending on what situation you find yourself in. On the Cloudburst Totem row, yes, you only have one pick, Cloudburst Totem, and nothing else matters on this row. This talent will replace your Healing Stream Totem. What a surprise. It's a new totem and also not a new totem, if you know what I mean. Yeah, you know. Because it will change the basic functionality of the ability that it replaces. When cast, the Cloudburst Totem will gather 30% of your healing, excluding healing from other totems, and it will release all of that healing on all of the injured targets in its radius. You can also choose when you burst your Cloudburst Totem if you don't want to wait for it to expire or you need the healing faster by pressing it again. Oh, and did we tell you that you can use it 2 times thanks to Echo of the Elements? No? Yes? Well, we did, so use it wisely and you can't forget that you ever had other options on this road to choose from. If we didn't convince you by now that you are the best water sprinkler around, then with Wellspring you will surely accept your new fate. It's the best talent for raiding and AoE healing, and it will make you send a tide forward in an arc to heal all your allies in its way. And finally, Ascendance will transform you into a Super Saiyan water sprinkler for 50 seconds. Which will double the power of your heals, and Ascendance will also heal everyone around you in a 20-yard radius for a big chunk when you first pop it. Yes, everybody will be nice and wet and healed then. Well, thank you, eternally. No more baths required. Save money on soap. Let's move on. For the stats to bring you the most amount of healing needed, it will depend a lot on the type of content you prefer doing. Intellect will be the universal best stat, so the higher the eye level, the better the item will be, so long as it has Intellect on it. For raiding, it will be followed by Crit as the second best stat, then Versatility very close after, with Mastery and Haste all the way to the bottom. For Mythic Plus, things will change a little for your stats, and you will find Versatility as the best stat because of the survivability and damage it brings, followed by Haste, mainly for more damage, with Crit very close and Mastery at the bottom. For your weapon, Enchanted with Celestial Guidance. The intellect it provides you with will increase the potency of your healing and damage spells alike. On your chest, you can choose from Eternal Bounds and Raids for the extra mana pool, and Intellect it provides, and Eternal Stats, in case you just need more survivability, especially in Mythic Plus. Talking about survivability, don't forget the Heavy Desolate Armor Kit for that extra stamina it brings, also added on your chest. Enchant your bracers with Eternal Intellect for the same reasons we talked about in the weapons section. No more information is needed, Intellect equals Smart. For your cloak, Fortified Leech will be the best for raiding since Leech is the best stat for healers in general, and Fortified Avoidance will help you push keys when AoE damage will be harder to heal. Gems will see you using Deadly Jewel Clusters with Tenet of Critical Strike on rings for raids and use the Versatility counterparts for dungeons. Flask of Spectral Power will be your go-to in every situation and will never let you down. As for the potions, well, we will have to talk a bit, as Shaman is a pretentious class. Spec, whatever, you get it. Potion of Spiritual Clarity will usually be the best one if you can fit 10 seconds of downtime when the other healers can heal while you are recovering 10k mana. The Potion of Sacrificial Anima is another choice if you can cast 4 chain heals in a row, as this will save you 12k mana more than any other potion. The Spiritual Mana Potion will provide you with an instant 6k mana and will be the go-to in case you can't make use of the potions mentioned before. And finally, the Potion of Spectral Intellect will be used if you are comfortable with your mana and will need a little more damage/healing from your spells. For your weapon oil, again, there's only one choice. Embalmer's Oil will be the default pick for the little healing it will provide you with, or Shield in case of overhealing. Feast of Gluttonous Hedonism is the universal best choice of food you can find, and if you cannot find it, then you will use Spinefin Souffle and Fries for raids and the versatility counterpart for Mythic Plus. If you pick a Resto Shaman, then you are in luck, because all of the covenants are so close to one another that you won't feel the difference. So choose what you like. Since this is a basic guide and we don't want to make it an hour-long documentary, we will present the ones that stand out more in their respective content. So with no surprise, and like in 9.05, the Necrolords still stand strong as the best covenant for raiding. Their covenant class ability, Primordial Wave, can be used to damage an enemy and put Flame Shock on them, or heal an ally and leave another Riptide on them. But the reason why it's so good in raiding is that it will make your next healing wave heal all of the targets affected by Riptide. And add to that the Fleshcraft ability, a shield that with the right Soulbind is used as both a healing and a DPS cooldown, making you ready for raiding. And yes, the right Soulbind is Emily, which with the 3 potency conduit path will give you access to traits like Lead by Example, a 5% primary stat buff and 2% extra primary stat that you will share with up to 5 allies around you as well. Emily's Magnificent Skin, a trait that will make Fleshcraft increase your maximum health by 5% for 30 seconds, and other traits like Resilient Stitching, which gives a magic absorb shield when you are above 90% health on a 1-minute cooldown. Plus the Fleshcraft Transformer Pustule Eruption will make your Fleshcraft give up to 9 stacks of pustules that will pop when you get healed or damaged, dealing damage around you and healing allies in dungeons. Because a little more damage is needed, Kyrians will take the cake. The Vesper Totem will be the totem for you, a 1-minute cooldown with 3 charges of damage that activates when you deal damage, and 3 charges of healing that heals when you heal other allies with your healing spells. Add on top of that the ability to move it from pack to pack, and you will have the perfect M+ spell. Even the signature ability, Summon Steward, will be very helpful with the 3 charges of improved Hellstones from File of Serenity, which will be nothing to sneeze at, cause it can remove poisons, bleeds, germs, your mama's lipstick, basically anything your wife doesn't like. Forge Light Prime Mechanicos will be your go-to Soulbind. With a 2 potency conduits path, you will have traits like Bronze Call to Action, a trait that will summon Brawn to knock your enemies, heal your allies, and DPS your foes. Talking about DPS, Hammer of Genesis will provide you with the haste you need. An Effusive Anima Accelerator will do decent AoE damage and make your Vesper Totem an almost 40-second cooldown. And don't forget Soul Glow Spectrometer for the extra damage or healing it provides to end your Kyrian toolkit. If you follow the paths recommended by us, you will be needing potency conduits like Swirling Currents, a conduit that will make your Cloudburst Totem, because you will always take this talent, enhance your next 3 healing surges, healing waves, or Riptide spells. Follow it up with the Covenant-specific potency conduit, Tumbling Waves for Necros, that has a chance to make Primordial Wave reset its own cooldown, or Elysian Dirge for Kyrians, which will increase the effectiveness of Vesper Totem to the closest targets to it. The last potency conduit, Heavy Rainfall, will find its way into your toolkit, usually in raids. Heavy Rainfall will make one of your biggest AoE healing cooldowns, Healing Tide Totem, improve the effectiveness of Healing Rain for 20 seconds. For your Endurance conduits, you will use the new Condensed Anima Sphere conduit, a small healing every 10 seconds when you take damage. Paired up with Refreshing Waters, the Endurance conduit that increases the effectiveness of Healing Surge on yourself, and Vital Accretion, your last choice in the Endurance department, a conduit that increases your max HP when Earth Elemental is summoned. As for Finesse conduits, Thunderous Paws will be your go-to in every situation and will increase your movement speed when you enter Ghost Wolf for 3 seconds on a 1-minute cooldown. The next 2 will be situational, and you will have the choice between Spiritual Resonance, a conduit that gives you Spiritwalker's Grace effect when Bloodlust will be used, and Totemic Surge, usually used in Mythic Plus, a conduit that reduces the cooldown of your Tremor, Capacitor, and Earthbind totems. Your trinkets of choice will be Soul-Letting Ruby from the Painbringer dungeon, Theater of Pain, and Unbound Changeling from the Mists dungeon. Both provide you with decent stats, and you can align them with your cooldowns. From the raid, we will have choices like Titanic Ocular Gland, big stats from the highest secondary stat rating you have, or Shadowed Orb of Torment, a 40-second mastery increase. But be careful to not get killed by it, as the gaze deals almost 20% of your HP over its full duration. And speaking of damage, honorable mentions go to Infinitely Divisible Ooze. It is a trinket from Plaguefall that will be usually used in Mythic Plus or when you like to pump a little more damage. As for the Shards of Domination, yes, no more jokes this time. We all know this is not the tier sets we wished for, but the tier sets we deserved.
No, not the pitchforks!
You can do it! Cut his freaking balls off!
You will use the Chaos Bane Unholy set plus Cure as one of your best shards because of the shield it provides, and a choice between Rev, because a little more leech, or Tell for a little more shields when you crit. As the set bonus only works only in raids, Maw and Torghast, for Mythic Plus the shards will differ a little. You will pick the 3 damage ones, Core, Diz and Beck, plus Cure, and a choice between Zed and Rev. The legendaries will depend a lot on what covenant you are in. Usually the covenant specific one will be very good in some situations. As Necrolords, and not only, the best legendary you can find will be the Primal Tidal Core crafted on your hands. This legendary will proc an additional Riptide on a close target when you use Riptide 4 times. In case you need a little more damage in your Mythic Plus, then you will need Deep Tremor Stone on your ring. This legendary will transform your Earth Elemental into a powerful AoE damage dealing machine, as it will attach a permanent Earthquake to it. Raging Vesper Vortex on your legs will be the default legendary for Kyrians in Mythic Plus. This legendary will make your Vesper Totem explode after you use its 3 charges, killing allies if you use 3 healing spells, and damages all enemies if you use 3 damage spells. For Night Phase Shamans, Seeds of Rampant Growth on your hands will do the trick. It is usually used in the raid, and it will make Fate Transfusion reduce the cooldown of your Healing Tide Totem and increase your critical strike chance by 4% for 15 seconds with each tick. As a healer, you don't really have a weapon with extra effects to use from dungeons or raids, so we will usually go for eye level with the traditional staff Maledict Opus from Kel'Thuzad in the Sanctum of Domination raid. That's where it drops. In Mythic Plus, you may want to go for a stat-appropriate one-handed weapon plus the shield Guard of the Sundered Defender from Sylvanas. Why? Because Earth Elemental gets his stats from you, so higher armor means a more tanky and beefed up Earth Elemental. As a healer, you will have to react to what is happening and decide what the best healing spell is best suited to be used in whichever situation. But as a general healing rotation, as a Necrolord Shaman, you can keep your Earth Shield active, usually on the tank, have Water Shield up all the time, use Spirit Link Totem if high damage single target or AoE is about to hit, use Healing Tide Totem after, use Cloudburst Totem on cooldown as much as you can, and manually recall it if the burst healing is needed. Use Riptide on cooldown and always have it on the tank. Primordial Wave when you have many Riptides out, and then use Healing Wave to, do that AoE healing. Unleash Life if talented on cooldown, and use Chain Heal as the best spell you can buff it with, followed by Riptide or the others. Healing Rain on as many targets as you can, especially when they are clumped up. Use Earthen Wall Totem if talented, same as Healing Rain. If you need AoE healing, use Wellspring, and if talented for more mana efficiency as well. If you still need AoE healing, use Chain Heal. Spend Tidal Wave buffs on Healing Surge for high throughput or Healing Wave for more mana efficiency. As a filler, when low damage is coming, cast Healing Wave. If you have free GCDs, use Flame Shock. Lava Burst when it procs to be instant. And if almost no damage is occurring, you can use Lightning Bolts or Chain Lightning in AoE. If healing isn't needed or you want to prioritize damage dealing for whatever reason, then start your priority with Flame Shock on up to 2 to 3 targets. Lava Burst with the proc when in AoE or hard casted in single target, cast your Covenant specific spell, use Chain Lightning if 2+ targets are available, and cast Lightning Bolts as a filler. A couple of thank yous are in order for this guide. We want to thank Totem Fear, one of our Legos team member in a Mythic Raid guild that cleared Sylvanas some time ago, and of course Theun from the Ancestral Guidance and generally the Shaman Discord that you can find if you want to go more in depth about Resto Shaman and find out a couple of more advanced tips that we don't go over. These guys are pretty good when it comes to Resto Shaman, so we highly recommend you guys check them out. Thank you Theun as well for taking a little bit out of your theory crafting and helping people in Discord time to feedback our Resto Shaman guide. I hope we did a great job and you are freaking awesome. And as always, our patrons are freaking awesome as well because, well, they are, since they contributed to a lot of this of what you see. Like, you can probably see the new changes in our office, and we are super grateful for patrons, guys. Cannot overstate how much we appreciate your support. And if you, dear viewer, want to support us a little bit more, you like our content, maybe you like to see more of it, maybe you like to give a little back, the Patreon link is down below. You can check it out. There's multiple tiers. Maybe there's one for you. You never know. And yeah, there are some goodies and perks to wait for you there. Thank you for watching the video. Hope you found it helpful, and we'll see you next time.
I've been loving it then, I still love it now. Still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. Getting better every day, let me show you how. Cause still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. It's getting harder to stay, but at the end of the day, it's a guilty pleasure, so just log in and play. Whether it's classic or retail, I'ma do a /bow. Still, I play WoW.